welcome to This Week in Bobcat Athletics. I'm Vice President of Athletics, Craig McPhail. Folks, I want to thank you first and foremost. For those of you who came to the basketball game last Tuesday night against King, you were part of the largest crowd we've ever had in Williams Gymnasium. And the atmosphere, the electricity, the energy, the passion, the loyalty, the pride, everything that is Bobcat Nation came out in that one night. It may be the tipping point for our athletic department. It may be what generates the buzz that continues on throughout the spring. But I want you to know how appreciative I am for you coming out. We had a crazy parking lot. We had a full house gym, and we had an incredible atmosphere. It's what college athletics is all about, folks. Being a part of something to where these 18 to 22-year-olds see how much you truly care and watch them play a game while they earn a college education in what you and I call home. I can't thank you enough for being a part of it. And in the same regards, I challenge you. I know there's a lot of other things going on Tuesday night, but if you can, please come back. Let's fill Williams Gym. It's a whiteout. Let's make it special. And as we go through the show today, you're going to hear about some really great things, really great people that we talk about every week. But we're just trying to showcase more people, show you more faces, and let you know the difference makers that are on our campus. Stay tuned for This Week in Bobcat Athletics.
Welcome back to This Week in Bobcat Athletics. I'm Sports Information Director Chris Parker with Coach Steve Harden of the men's basketball team. Coach, it's that time of year. March Madness is upon us. You guys get Limestone Tuesday in the quarterfinals. What are your thoughts?
They're really good. They're really good. They got great offensive players. Naturally, we lost to them on the road without Austin, and at home, you know, we played pretty well. We made some shots, you know, got up a lot, but they battled back. It ended up being a close game. They got 2 to 5 really good players for the league. I mean, they're traditionally, as you know, their athletic programs are always top in the conference, the top in the nation overall in sports. So it's going to be a tough task. The great thing about it is we're at home, and we finally got a first ever home game, and we need a first ever win in the conference tournament.
We'll touch on Austin in a little bit. Talk about the home game. You guys played against King, probably the most electric atmosphere I've ever seen here at Lees-McRae. And from hearing from the fans and staff and faculty, they said the same thing. You guys lost a heartbreaker by 2. That game was up and down by 11. You guys ended up coming back leading by about 12 there. Can you just talk about playing in front of such a big crowd?
Oh, it was unbelievable. I mean, I'm so thankful for all the Bobcat Nation for coming out to the game. It was naturally one of those games where it was fun. It was just fun all around. I know the players had a blast. I know both sides. I've talked to the King staff, had a blast. I mean, that's what rivalries are supposed to be about, and having everybody here. And both teams played really extremely well. And unfortunately, we didn't get the win, but it was definitely great to see the crowd and great to see how hard both teams played. And I think both of us had a hangover in our next game because we both played pretty poorly for the last game of the season.
With that last game, you got to put it behind you against North Greenville. But like we talked a little bit about with Austin Anderson, a couple things. He shoots that 3 as the buzzer goes off. What was your sight of it? From where I saw it, looked like it came in and rimmed out. Did you think he had a clean shot at it?
I did. I thought it was a good move. It was a half little step back, so it was a little off balance. But for the most part, that's all you can ask for: get your best player to get a shot that can win a game for you. So I mean, I thought it was a good look. I thought you know, if we drew up something and called a timeout, we're probably going to get the same kind of look. So it's one of those things. If it goes, then you win. If you don't, you lose. And big time players want to take that shot. And I was glad that it went to his hands and he got to take it.
Speaking of Austin, you know, this week not only with tournament games but all conference is going to start coming out. Austin, I believe, one of 5 players with Player of the Year nominations. What about him makes him stand out against all the other kids in the league?
I think you know, naturally stats, we're a stat-driven society. Stats speak for themselves. I mean, he's in the top 1 to 5 in almost all categories, from rebounding to assists, naturally, and scoring. You know, I think, unless I haven't looked in the past 2 games, but he's leading the conference in scoring, just in the conference stuff. So I know that he's so much for us. You take him off our team, and we're not what we are. And I think that's supposed to be what's the MVP kind of guys if it leads a team to the next level. So we're hoping he gets it. I think he deserves it. I know we've talked to a lot of coaches in the league that feel like they have. I know, you know, CJ Good, there's a lot of players on King that could get it and others, but just with us and what he's meant to us, we're hoping that he can come up with that hardware.
We're going to steer clear a little bit about on the court. Today we found out 3 of your kids were honored for all academic, Darius, Gumbo, and Camred. What does that mean to see your kids excel not only on the court but in the classroom, become leaders on campus?
Oh, it's huge, and they're as competitive as they are. We got a competitive group that wants to be great at everything, and those three are a testament to it. But also, I had a lot of guys ask me why they were not on it, because they wanted to understand the rules and they didn't understand that you had to be a junior to get that. So it just the competitive fire of all of that. I mean, our guys want something like that all the way. If it's in the classroom or if it's in practice, they want to compete against each other as hard as they can. And then when we get to a game, they all want to be together.
And speaking of the game, you touched on it earlier against Limestone. As you said, you're a little bit hungover from the King game against North Greenville, but you got to put all that behind you, have one good practice before you play Limestone tomorrow. What's your speech going to be? What are you going to tell the kids before they step on the floor tomorrow night?
I think tournament time is awesome because it's fun. It's time that it's what you worked all from once we got here in August is what we've worked for to get to this point. But once you're here, you can't really change too much. I think too many people try to do things different than what they do. We haven't changed anything about how we're playing or what we're doing. We're just going to pretty much come out today and have a good practice and be ready to go tomorrow. I think as light and as just regular routine as we can, for us to be good. I think we brought them in Saturday to watch film on Limestone. We brought them in Sunday as well, and we practiced on Sunday, and then get it today for practice. I think we want to be overly prepared before the game, but once you get to the game, it's a 40-minute game. They got to take that what they learn, but they also just got to be them.
All right. Coach Steve Harden and the Bobcats lose to number 6 seed Limestone Saints here at Williams Gymnasium at 7 o'clock on Tuesday. We hope that you, the fans, can come out. Got a lot of stuff going on besides the game as well. And we'll be back shortly with This Week in Bobcat Athletics.
Welcome back to This Week in Bobcat Athletics. I have a good friend of mine, our men's lacrosse coach, Derry Thornton, here today. Derry's in his 3rd season, Coach?
Yes, sir. 3rd season. Just started.
And Derry, we've done a special feature each week this month on Black History Month. Tell us a little bit, would you, about what it means to you as an African-American coach and quite honestly, one of a few in the men's collegiate world.
It's an honor. I know Hampton just started their Division I program with lacrosse. There's 3% of the lacrosse players that play NCAA lacrosse Division I, 2, or 3. I'm sorry, Division I, are African American. And the sport is growing. It fills me with pride. Being from the North, it's a little different and everything, but just myself, Coach Oliver at Coker, Coach Colbert, who's assistant at University of DC. There's just a number of us, and we've talked amongst ourselves, Coach Carrington at Tusculum, and we love our job, and reaching out and be able to mentor our lacrosse team and lacrosse players goes a long way, and it gives us a chance to a better sense of pride and feeling in what we do.
Do you see more African Americans starting to take up the sport of lacrosse as maybe concussions and so forth, injuries that happen through football? Do you see more of them populating the sport?
It's a slow process. It's happening. It's taken a little bit longer than we had hoped, but it's great to see going to these tournaments all across the country, whether it's California, New York, Texas, Georgia, where you see more and more African American, Asian American, Puerto Rican, there are different cultures, different groups that aren't necessarily attached to lacrosse, and it's growing, and we're actually happy to get that recognition out there.
Tell me a little bit, as an African-American coach, where do you see your role right now with regards to representing your ethnicity, but also trying to grow a sport that's probably one of the most popular sports there is right now?
The fastest growing sport in America besides bowling. It is refreshing to get an email from a kid, whether it's the Bronx or a kid from Atlanta, where you actually give them hope, where they see that you're coaching or you've played and they don't have to go the route of football, necessarily basketball or baseball or track. It's an outlet for a lot of kids, and I feel great. I love my job. I love what I'm doing. And there are just times in the office where you're getting those emails, or you get that phone call, you get a text from a kid, or you go to a recruiting event and you see these guys, you see more and more African American kids out, and it's growing, and I feel great about it.
Well, Coach, you get to play at home this Saturday. Tell me a little bit about what you're looking forward to, and maybe give these folks, these fans here, a chance to, come out and see lacrosse. What are they going to watch and see?
Well, we're playing Notre Dame Namur. They're coming all the way out from California to play us, our first home game. Action-packed. People who don't understand or know what lacrosse is about, you take rugby, soccer, basketball, you throw it in a blender, and that's pretty much, and a little bit of hockey, and that's what lacrosse is for people who don't know. We're going to play fast, play aggressive, have fun out there. There's a different type of energy when we play now, and it's an exciting time to be a Bobcat men's lacrosse player, and we're looking to go out and just play hard.
Well, folks, I hope you get a chance to ride by Tate Field Saturday afternoon. We've got a doubleheader with women's lacrosse and men's lacrosse, and you're going to get to see a game that, I'll be honest with you, I don't understand a lot, but he said it best. It's kind of like hockey on grass with line changes, and football with the contact, and soccer with the up and down running. So it's a blend of everything, and it's been a great addition for us here at Lees-McRae with a strong tradition of great alumni. Fans, I hope you get to come out and watch men's and women's lacrosse. They're going to play this Saturday. Games are starting at 1, so hopefully you'll get a chance to see what Coach Thornton was talking about, and hopefully you'll understand a little bit better than I do. It is hockey on grass with line changes and so forth. It's got a lot of soccer as the boys are running up and down. There's a lot of strategy that goes into it, so it's a fun game to watch. There's some contact, so for those of you who are a little bit saddened by the end of college football or the NFL, you'll see some boys get hit, and it'll be fun. In the meantime, stay tuned as Chris will recap the week, and stay tuned for more of This Week in Bobcat Athletics.
Welcome back to This Week in Bobcat Athletics. I'm here to recap the week that was and the week that will be. It's that time of year. Everybody's playing, a lot going on. Women's lacrosse lost a tough road game against Pfeiffer 14-4, but their defense was pretty impressive throughout that. They'll travel to Montreat on Wednesday before hosting their season opener against Emmanuel at 4 o'clock here at Tate Field. Men's lacrosse traveled up to a snowy West Virginia, played Alderson Broaddus pretty tough, ended up on the short end of the stick. They will be have their home opener here against Notre Dame de Namur on Saturday at 1 p.m. As you saw, we talked with Coach Harden. 2 tough losses this week. Lost a heartbreaker 92-90 against King. And the Bobcats, as you saw, will be hosting Limestone on Tuesday at 7 p.m. in a Conference Carolinas quarterfinal. Women's basketball also lost a tough one to King 78-70, and then they fell at North Greenville. The Bobcats women's basketball team saw their season come to an end, and Taylor Collins saw her career come to an end. So a tip of the hat to Taylor. Thank you for all that you've done for Bobcats women's basketball. Tennis lost a couple tough matches. They open their conference slate as they travel to Belmont Abbey tomorrow. Men's volleyball lost a 5-set thriller to Alderson Broaddus on Friday. They have the first half of the week off, and they travel to Coker and Emmanuel over the weekend. At track and field, they participated in the indoor championships down in Winston-Salem. 3 student athletes placed. Cody McNeely finished 3rd in the 800-meter run, and then Erin Bingham won the 60-meter hurdles. She repeated as she did this last year. And then Christian Lloyd, who you saw earlier last week, repeated as the champion in men's pole vault. Overall, I believe we had about a dozen top 10 finishes, so a tip of the cap to all those student athletes. So fans, quite a few road games coming up. Softball was at Coker over the weekend as they won a thriller yesterday, scored 5 runs in the top of the 7th to defeat the host Coker 5-4. And in the game before they lost to Bloomsburg, they were down 6-1 going into the 7th, and they scored 4 runs there with 3 freshmen hitting their first collegiate home runs. And they will travel to Lenore-Rhyme this week, and then they head to Converse to open up their conference slate. And then they are off to Florida for about 8 games down in Claremont. So a lot going on, and for anything that you need to know about Bobcat Athletics, log on to lmcbobcats.com, and we'll be back with Coach McPhail as he wraps up this week's show.
As I said at the beginning, we've got one more night, one more home game, and a first ever for us. We're going to host the first round quarterfinal game against Limestone tomorrow night, Tuesday night, 7 p.m. in our gym. There's a lot of other things going on in this county tomorrow night, and I understand basketball is in great reigns here in the county. But what I'm telling you is our boys need your help. We need your support. We need you to be loud and proud. Our student body's going to be there because we're going to give out 225 t-shirts. It's going to be a whiteout. We've got a t-shirt slingshot gun that we're going to unveil tomorrow night. We've got gift cards to area community restaurants and so forth. We're going to try and have an absolute wonderful atmosphere for a college basketball game to take place in. Our men have really progressed. We've made great strides, and you're a part of it. Your support, your encouragement, and everything else has meant the world to me, our coaches, and our young men. Tomorrow night, let's come together as one, Bobcat Nation. Stay tuned. That's all for this week in Bobcat Athletics.